Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Srila Prabhupada spoke on the prayers of Queen Kunti at least in 3 different occasions, which is, he only did that with one other section from the Bhagavatam, and that was prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. So Prabhupada really liked these prayers by Queen Kunti. They are really deep in devotion, and they reflect a very deep humility also. So we'll start a series of verses, starting with verse number 18. Kunti uvacha namasye purusham tvadyam isvaram prakriti param alakshyam sarvabhutanam antirbhahe avastitam. Srimati Kunti said, "O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You're existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all." Srimati Kunti Devi was quite aware that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Although he was playing the part of her nephew, such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances to her nephew. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendental, they are neither original nor infallible. Living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature, but the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he is described as the chief among all living entities, Nityo, Nityanam, Chaitanas, Chaitananam. Then again, he is addressed as Ishvara, or the controller. The living entities or the demigods like Chandra and Surya are also to some extent Ishvara. And none of them is the supreme Ishvara, or the ultimate controller. Krishna is the Parameshvara, or the super soul. He is both within and without. Although he was present before Srimati Kunti as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In Gita 15:15, the Lord says, "I am situated in everyone's heart, and only due to me one remembers and forgets and is cognizant. Though all the Vedas I am to be known because I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the teacher of the Vedanta." Queen Kunti affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living beings, is still invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before yet he entered within the womb of Uttar to save her embryo from the attack of Asvatthama's Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all-pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both, but he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited visions of the rebellious soul. It is explained as follows. There's no place to go. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Kuminovistam. Stop it right there. Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padatikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Virgasesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Panchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhupe Japatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Queen Kunti is almost on the same level as Mother Yasoda. Her devotion to the Lord is perfect. She is deep in her understanding of the Lord. She knows that an aunt does not pay respects to a nephew, but because she knows her nephew is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she's offering her obeisances. She cannot commit a mistake. She describes the Lord as unaffected by the qualities of the material world. There are a class of people who claim to be spiritualists who say that when the Lord comes to the material world, he takes on a material body and he acts in a material way. These are for the non-devotees, atheists who have no understanding of the Lord. So he appears like that, and therefore their understanding of the Lord is always limited, or what we say wrong, incomplete. The Lord never touches the material energy. For instance, just like the planes that fly in the sky look like they are touching the sky, but they never touch the sky. From the view of someone on the ground, it looks like the plane is in the sky, but the sky is vast and expansive. And the planes never touch the sky, although it appears to be like that. Same with any object you see in the sky, it doesn't touch the sky. So in the same way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of everything, and especially he is also the source and controller of the material energy, is not affected by the qualities of the material world, although he plays like an ordinary dramatic actor on the stage. He acts many times like an ordinary human being. He appears to take birth as a mother and father, and he appears to have sentiments like the conditioned soul. But these are also parts of his performance in the material world for his own transcendental pleasure and to give pleasure to his devotees. Only those who understand the Lord through devotion can correctly describe the qualities and characteristics of the Lord. Here, Kunti also says that you are both within and without everything simultaneously. So, although he is within everything, anantarastam paramanchayantarastam, he is within the atom, and he is also without in the form of the spiritual energy which pervades all of existence. So the Lord is everywhere simultaneously, yet he is invisible to everyone. But the devotees can see the Lord, the devotees can experience the presence of the Lord by the process of their devotional service. And when the devotee becomes pure in devotional service, they can see the Lord everywhere in his form as Krishna. So he reserves the right not to be visible to the non-devotees who have no devotion and are always speculating what is God and what does he do. And so he remains hidden from such persons, and is explained that he also supports their false ideas. In other words, if they want to make statements that are contrary to the Lord's existence, he will help them find some justifications for their statements, and they will think that their statements are correct. Just like, for instance, when he disappeared from the world, the Lord came on the request of the demigods to rid the world of the demoniac forces. And he did his job, and he brought with him many of his associates, along with many of the powerful demigods. And then he created his own dynasty called the Yadu dynasty. The Yadu dynasty were millions and millions. Many of them were his family members. Because when Krishna was in Dwarka, he had 16,108 queens, and he had 10 sons and 1 daughter for each of the queens. So that was millions and millions of progeny. So anyone who doubts the supremacy of the Lord cannot, rationalize that with the fact that he had so many persons, so many family members. And at one point he wound up his pastimes. But in order to keep the illusions of the non-devotees, he appeared to leave the world like an ordinary conditioned soul. Supposedly one hunter thought he saw the face of a deer in a bush, but it was actually the foot of Krishna. This hunter shot an arrow and hit Krishna in the foot, and supposedly Krishna died because of being shot in the foot with an arrow. Of course, generally people don't die by being shot in the foot with an arrow. But Krishna used that as a way to disappear from the world and also to keep the non-devotees' falsity intact, because he's not out to convince people that he's God. The way that he can be understood is, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service, only by devotional service, one can understand me as I am, standing before you, and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So Krishna can only be known by devotional service, not by jnana yoga, speculating on philosophical knowledge in the scriptures, not by renunciation of fruit of activities, not by chanting of mantras perfectly, not by great austerities and ritualistic performance. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarve sam margatem natmanaha stradavam spajate yomam te me yuktatamo mataha. Only those who abide in me in devotional service can they understand me, and thus be connected with me in devotion. So Krishna has set the stage. So devotion is the only way. And devotion is the natural constitutional position of all living entities. So what Krishna does is he is giving the process which is natural. He's not creating a new process to know him. The process is already there. Devotion to him awakens awareness of him and knowledge. Excuse me. And knowledge of him. Both of these, awareness of him and knowledge of him, come only by devotion to him. So Kunti, she has devotion. Krishna is standing in front of her. She's offering him these beautiful prayers. And you'll see that Krishna offers his obeisances. He gets down in front of his aunt because he's in playing the role of his nephew, her nephew. He follows the etiquette very carefully, because if God doesn't teach by example, for the conditioned souls to understand what is the proper etiquette, then people will create their own etiquette or reject the real etiquette. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever great men do, common men follow in their footsteps. And whatever standards they set by their exemplary activities, others follow. So Krishna, in order to keep proper religious principles and the etiquette of exchange, he follows these very carefully. Sometimes he does break them, but this is under certain conditions and for a higher principle. But generally, he follows very carefully. So Kunti Devi, she knows that Krishna is her nephew, but she also knows that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a beginning. And she says, I offer my obeisances unto you. You're the original personality. So she doesn't say you are the personality. You are the original personality. And so the Lord expands himself into many manifestations of himself. And these are called incarnations or expansions, plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. But the original source is Krishna himself. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karna. He is the cause of all other causes. On the material level, the gross materialists, when they see something happening, they give rationale to what they see as the cause of the activity. But behind every cause, there is a remote cause. And the remote cause is Krishna. He is a remote cause in every activity. So therefore, behind the scenes, although the material energy is working in such a way as to give people the reactions of their activities, the Lord puts the material energy in place according to his desires. And according to his desires, the material energy functions accordingly. But for a devotee, one devotee is not affected by the material energy because they take shelter of Krishna, who is the controller of the material energy. If you have the favor of the president, then you get the favor of everyone else. So in the same way, getting the favor of the Supreme Lord means that one rises above all of the other principles that govern the material activities, and one is situated in transcendence or in devotion, free from the effects of the material energy. So here we're learning deeper what is Kunti and what is her devotion to her. What is her devotion to him? So we get a little insight of some of Krishna's qualities. It's important to know Krishna. If we want to be Krishna conscious, we have to know Krishna. Because knowledge of Krishna is unlimited, and therefore there is no stage where anyone can know everything about Krishna. In fact, Krishna is so great, and his knowledge of him is so unlimited, that we also say, or the scriptures also say, that Krishna doesn't even know everything about himself. He's so great, and as he continues to exist, his greatness continues to increase. So here is an example of his greatness. When we speak of greatness, we have to indicate something in relationship to the person who we call great. People like to use the word great, but great doesn't really indicate anything. You can say a great mistake, a great prasadam, great computer. So when you use the word great, it's just a general adjective. It's not very descriptive. But Krishna is great, but here's how great he is. He's within everyone, he's without at the same time, and he's at the same time invisible to all. That's an example of greatness. How can someone be inside of everyone? He is the super soul in the hearts of all living entities. He's the all-pervading spiritual energy throughout creation, right? Throughout existence, actually. And yet no one can see him. But he can be seen and experienced by devotion. So one should get attached to Krishna. Getting attached to Krishna means hearing about Krishna. We're hearing about Queen Kunti's prayers to Krishna, and we get an insight a little bit about her devotion to Krishna. And she offers this beautiful prayer. And you'll see as the chapter goes on, the prayers get more and more intricate and deeper in her relationship with Krishna. And Kunti is respected by all. She is the mother of the Pandavas, but at the same time, she gives complete respect and honor to her nephew, who appears as her nephew, although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Krishna likes to be in a position of being in relationship to his devotees. When he becomes the son of his mother, Yasoda, he is Yasoda Nandana, and she chastises him. She opens his mouth and she sees within his mouth the entire creation is there within the mouth of her son. She's bewildered by that. She's covered by her motherly affection for Krishna, and she cannot understand what she's seeing. And then she simply says, all right, don't eat any more dirt. So she's back to chastising Krishna for his misbehavior. And Krishna likes that. Prabhupada says that so many people are offering prayers to Krishna, and in those prayers they're asking by so many things. And Krishna is not so much attracted nor interested in their prayers. But when Prabhupada said, when one has a relationship with Krishna, as a son or a parent or a father or a lover or a friend, Krishna enjoys that relationship much, much more, and he is eager to reciprocate in that way. It's just like Prabhupada tells the story of one very important minister, government minister. Can't remember his name. Prabhupada talks about him. And so one man, he had an appointment with the governor. So he came and the secretary greeted the man and said, the governor is busy now, but you can wait and he'll be available soon. So the man was waiting, and he waited up to a whole hour. And then he was thinking, what is he doing that is taking so long? So he decided to go up to the door and look in and see what the governor was doing. And he was playing horsey with his little son. The little son, his grandson, was riding on his back, and he was like carrying the little boy this way and that way. Here's a big man, very important, got a big position, respected by so much, but he enjoys being with his little grandson playing horsey. So Krishna's like that. He likes to play with his friends. He likes to be teased by his lovers. He likes to be chastised by his parents. That's Krishna. But of course, one has to qualify themselves, and that qualification is bhakti. So as bhakti grows, one will start to develop an attraction for Krishna, in a certain mood. And in that mood, one will be able to exhibit their love and devotion for Krishna. And Krishna will reciprocate according to the mood of that devotee. Okay. We have relationships in this world, but there's always some problem. No matter how nice the relationship is, there's always some problem. But with Krishna, there's never any problem. Okay, we'll stop here.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for the wonderful talk. It was really nice to hear Kunti's prayers is always very deep and is so sweet to listen to. And especially in this pastime is in how Krishna enjoys the different relationships, and especially being with her aunt. And I really like the point that he still follows the etiquette of touching his aunt's feet. And one more thing which I never knew about is how Krishna left this planet. So that was something very new for me to know. Thank you. So devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can type in the chat box and I'll read it for you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And turn on your cameras.
And yes, please turn on your cameras. Thank you.
Let's see. Hare Krishna, Jai Ho. So,
So Guru Maharaj, while we're waiting for devotees to think about the questions, I would like to ask a question. As in, it feels like when Krishna came, he definitely enjoyed the relationships with devotees. So does, like, we all know that we all have a swaroop, which will appear to us in maybe I don't know how many years time, like, but is there always a devotee has established relationship between with Krishna? Is that fixed?
yeah, it's fixed. In the spiritual world, you can change it though once you get to the spiritual world, but you change it only because you can offer more service to Krishna, but you're still fixed in your swarup. Because you have to understand that spirit is not limited. But spirit in the material world tends to be limited. So the swarup is fixed and cannot be changed. But in the spiritual world, although your swarup is your natural way to express your love for Krishna, if you want to, and only for the pleasure of Krishna, adopt another mood or another form, you can do that. But it's not based on just personal interest, it's based on pleasing Krishna by doing that.
So Guru Maharaj, I was listening a class the other day, and in that class, it was mentioned it's about the Venugit.
Haribol Satyabhama, when you get questions, then you have to stop and give the questionnaires.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't take up the whole program.
Okay, sure. I will not. Diptesh Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, thank you for this session. I think these Queen Kunti Devi's prayers are very powerful, and the more we contemplate, the more I think we get purification. Maharaj, so thank you for the verse. Maharaj, you mentioned, and I think Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, but you mentioned that Krishna makes, I'm just looking at the notes, makes, if somebody has a concocted belief or a version of Supreme Person or even Krishna, then Krishna actually helps them to make that wrong belief stronger. So my question to Maharaj, when we're distributing books and we're trying to preach, we have people on the streets who have concocted beliefs, who have got their own versions of what things are. Then what is the means to deliver them? How can those people be delivered? What is required? Because if Krishna is making their desire or their sort of thinking very strong in what they have, how those persons can be delivered or put on the right path?
No one can adopt any ideas or thoughts unless Krishna sanctions it. So, but he gives them their independence. So when he gives them their independence, he fulfills their desire, that's all. It's either directly for the devotees or indirectly for the non-devotees. So when we're out there trying to give Krishna consciousness to others in the form of books, then we're empowered by Krishna to do that work. So then it's up to the book distributor to be convinced that what he's giving is beneficial for that person. And if that comes through, then obviously the person will be attracted to that. So it's up to the book distributor.
So Maharaj, what you're saying is, just to clarify, if the book distribution is pure in intention and it comes through while convincing or distributing books or in preaching, then it will manifest.
Well, if you're out there and you're trying to distribute books, what is the purpose for being there? It's to give Krishna's mercy to others in the form of this knowledge. So your enthusiasm and your intelligence in presenting this will be the factor that will make the difference. Of course, that is a general principle. There are certain people who remain blocked because that's what they want. But there's others who he will be able to communicate with. So book distribution is an art.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, Kanchancha Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your lotus feet. Maharaj, thank you for your class. Just coming on the back of what Satyabhama Mataji was asking about the devotee's original Swarup, I was just wondering, Maharaj, if a devotee is naturally a Nishinga Bhakta, does that mean they came from Nishingadev's planet to the material world? If a devotee is originally, or if devotee is naturally a Ram Bhakta, does that mean they were originally in Ayodhya Dham and came from there? It's just something, I wanted to ask, Maharaj.
It doesn't, I don't recall any statements like that. One can also develop a particular attachment to a particular form of the Lord, but generally that development is more or less bringing out what is already there. But what Lord Chaitanya is doing, he's getting everyone interested in Krishna and Vrindavan. So although you see Sridhar Swami is the foremost commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he is a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev. Although he is the foremost commentary, he's given position or even over Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami. Still, and he is a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev, still his commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the most authorized and the foundation by which all other knowledge is coming from. But he is, his Istadev is Lord Nrsingadev. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, his Istadev is Krishna and Vrindavan, but he prays to Lord Nrsingadev to bring him to Vrindavan. So a devotee may be attracted to all of the forms of the Lord because they're the Lord and they're by nature all attractive. but there will be a specific form of the Lord that the devotee will be most attracted to. Now, if someone is coming as in the Nrsinga Bhakta, does that mean that they were coming from the planet of Lord Nrsingadev? You can't say that that is an absolute principle. Could be or could not be. That mean that would limit the fact that other people who are not coming from there could not be devotees of Lord Nrsingadev. But yeah, there are others who are devotees of Lord Nrsingadev, but they may not have been in the Vaikuntha realm.
Okay. So overall, it's not necessarily the case that they've come from that particular planet, and that's why they're naturally inclined to that form of the Lord.
That's a tendency, but that's not an absolute principle.
Not an absolute principle. Okay. And is it the same, Maharaj? Like we hear Prabhupada when he's giving the example, when Prabhupada gives the example of we were with Krishna and we wanted to leave Krishna. Is it similar? Like someone could have been with Ram and they wanted to leave Ram, and that's why they came to the material world.
Yeah. But Prabhupada said most of the devotees who come to our movement are, had relationships with Krishna. It's like Lord Chaitanya's associates were mostly all Krishna devotees, but then he had a few that were not. You had Murari Gupta, who was an incarnation of Hanuman. You had, I think, Nrsinganandana, who was a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev. So some of his associates were not Krishna Bhaktas, but they took shelter of Lord Chaitanya because Lord Chaitanya is avatari.
Yeah.
He is the source of all avatars.
Okay. So Maharaj, is it possible that a devotee of Lord Krishna in Prabhupada's movement could have an Ishtadev, like Lord Ram or Lord Nrsingadev, but they still want to go back to Vrindavan?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's possible. If you read it's mentioned, Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the 18th chapter, verse number 65, purport of Bhagavad Gita. He emphasized the importance of worshiping Lord Krishna over all of the other incarnations. Because as followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's teaching that mood of devotion. Prabhupada's pretty emphatic in that. It almost sounds like he's a little exclusive in that purport when you read it. It's quite to the point that we should focus on Krishna and Vrindavan.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions, devotees?
Right, Satyabhama, you have something?
Okay, Guru Maharaj. So I was just, about the Swarupa, I was, listening this class about the Venugit, and it was mentioned in the class that, all the gopis and manjaris, some are more attracted to Krishna, some are more attracted to Srimati Radharani. And they would, so I was just thinking about it, and the same thing, came up in the class today, that it may happen that we may have, special affection, or attraction to Radharani or Krishna, but but the relationship is fixed for like between us and Krishna. That's what I just had that comment.
Well, you love your husband, but you can love your children too.
Yes.
Love is not just like one place, you know.
Yes. But in this, just coming out of that topic, Guru Maharaj, just while we're waiting for devotees to think of the questions, in this particular verse, like when you mentioned that Krishna followed the etiquettes, usually in Indian culture, it's we always follow, touch the feet of elderly. And but in ISKCON, I have noticed that devotees do not like to be, especially senior devotees, and they do not like the feet to be touched. So what is your view on this, Guru Maharaj?
Prabhupada said it's okay. Devotees can touch devotees' feet, but devotees shouldn't accept people from the outside. He said as long as they're devotees, touching feet is fine. But outside, then you pick up their karma. You pick up not all of their, a portion of their karma, or some small fraction of their karma. So, yeah, Prabhupada said when they touch your feet, the non-devotees, then you simply put your hand on their back, and then it goes back to them. That's one way. Another way, Prabhupada says, just chant Hare Krishna.
Okay.
But depending on a devotee, if the devotee is powerful, then even if non-devotees touch their feet, it's not going to affect them. But if the devotee is not powerful, he may get a reaction from that.
Wow.
So therefore, Prabhupada cautions, do not let the non-devotees touch your feet. But sometimes he says you can't avoid it.
So it's very scary to hear that, Guru Maharaj, because every time I go India in my relations, like I have, my sister-in-laws who are younger than me. It's a ritual that, they have to come and touch my feet, and there are a number of them, like in a very big family on my, father's side and mother's side. And they all come, like, though I'm not very old, but still they all come and touch my feet.
Yeah, just chant Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. It was very helpful.
And offer your respects to your spiritual master while this is happening. And that way you're passing it on. That's it. Or to Srila Prabhupada, that is better.
So passing the karma to the spiritual master, or?
No, you're not passing your karma, you're passing the praise.
Okay.
You're passing the praise that's given to you, you're passing it on to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, then it's fine. Yeah.
That's proper. Otherwise, if you think it's for you, then you're gonna get something.
Thank you. This was very helpful. Yes, Nandini Radhika Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. Happy Nirjala Ekadashi, Maharaj. Maharaj, just follow-up question from what Satyam.
Haribo, we're not following Nirjal today. We're in Europe. Europe is tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Sorry, Maharaj. We are in London.
Oh, London, yeah. Oh, yeah. But so somehow Slovenia is tomorrow.
Okay, Maharaj. And so, yeah, happy Nirjala Ekadashi in advance, Maharaj, for tomorrow. So, Maharaj, just a follow-up question, from what Satyamama Mataji said. So, we have the same culture where, I, being the youngest in my in-laws, I am touching everyone's feet, and then we are trying to teach the same thing to Dhruva, because it's a very cultural thing that, boys have to touch feet. and take blessings. So is that okay, Maharaj? Because we
Yeah.
ask him to take blessings from devotees, non-devotees, any elderly who comes to our house.
Yeah, but teach them the meaning of it, not just after a while they just think it's just something to do, you know. It's just a ritual. No, it's a way of showing respects to elders. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that one should give respects to one's parents also. When Srila Prabhupada was giving initiations in 26 Second Ave in the very beginning, one young man came, he got initiated, and his mother came to the initiation. And then he instructed the boy, this was Brahmananda, you go and you offer your respects to your mother. And he did. He bowed down before his mother, touched her feet. Prabhupada wanted to, you know, help let us know that this is proper. This is proper etiquette. One family members, yeah, but I explain to them what that means, not just let them just, because after a while things become a ritual and nobody knows why they're doing what they're doing. They just do it.
Yes, Maharaj. We do try and explain to him, but yeah, well, you know, I keep doing that every now and then, because sometimes he has said, why do you ask me to just touch random people's feet? And I was like, you know, it's not random people, you know, of course these are our friends, and or, you know, these are the devotees, and yeah, but I think I just have to keep reminding him what's the purpose of it.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, he's really good. So those of you who are in London, you're following Nirjal today, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
And those of us who are in Slovenia, somehow, I don't know who made our calendar, but we're tomorrow for some reason.
I think Maharaj in India as well. I don't know. Someone said to me that in India they are following it tomorrow.
Yeah, the farther east you go, the more the TT changes.
Thanks, Nandini Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Any other questions?
Tiptesh, how's Sri Devi doing there?
She's well. She's recovered from the long journey, and she's at the temple, Maharaj. She spends the day. She's going to spend most of the day there chanting today. So she's at the temple.
Bhakti Vedanta Manor?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mataji is actually online. So.
Oh yes, she's You're
online.
right.
Oh yeah, she is. Okay.
So Guru Maharaj, we have a question from Aarti Mataji. I'm just going to read it. Please could you, okay. Do you take on one's karma if you touch one's feet?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. Do you take on one's karma if you touch one's feet?
No. The person you touch is the one is getting your karma or your blessing, or they're giving you either blessings or taking some karma. Depends. The idea is for non-devotees, we shouldn't allow that to happen, and for devotees, it's fine. Family members amongst themselves, that's fine. But it's not an absolute thing, you know, because Prabhupada tells us not to allow it, but at the same time, he does say sometimes if you can't avoid it, just think of Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. But the person who's touching doesn't get the karma from the other person, no. Because generally, energy is transferred through the feet. Just like it says you should not wear the shoes of another person, because if you wear another person's shoes, you'll also pick up some of their energy. You can feel that when you step into someone else's shoes, immediately you feel uncomfortable automatically, because you can feel that the energy is different. But if you take the shoes of a pure devotee and put it on your head, and then you're benefited. The monkeys, they steal your shoes in Vrindavan and they chew on them. How much benefit they're actually getting. Of course, you're not really happy about it, but the monkey's getting benefit.
And she said, "Thank you, Maharaj."
Is that okay, Arti? Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get my broom yet?
Yes, I bought it 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Try to sweep a floor with a Western broom is like just getting exercise for the arms. That's all that happens. You don't get any much result. India makes the brooms that actually work.
That is very good for the back pain as well, actually. Yeah. In India, we all use.
Yeah. And you shake it, nothing sticks. So you buy these brooms here, and 90% of what you sweep is stuck onto the broom. Then you try to use it again and you put it back on the floor again.
For that, you have to first clean the broom before you sweep.
Well, you have to learn the art. You sweep and then you shake. And you sweep and shake. When you shake, it comes off. In the Western brooms, nothing comes off, even if you try to clean it.
Yes.
Western culture is a mistake. That's already been said many times. Western medicine is barbaric. Western etiquette is just external. Western food is, I mean, there's some really good Western food. We can't knock that part. Western values are what? The value of a Western society is how much money you have, how nice you can dress, how expert you are in deceiving other people. Who's the host today?
Yes, my Guru Maharaj. Nath Prabhu has a question. I didn't want to interrupt you. Yes, Nath Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, my question is related to previous question. So the way I like most of devotee who are born and brought up in India, touching feet of sannyasi is considered as very respectful thing. In fact, even if we go to holy dham like Vrindavan or any Braj like place, if we touch feet of any sannyasi there, except somebody who is in ISKCON, they feel very happy and they give lots of blessings also. Only when I came in ISKCON or Krishna conscious, like this movement, I was told that yes, like this energy transfer and all this, and like please like, don't touch, even like just offer your obeisances by bowing down. And people feel sometimes not only like I would say just bad, but many times I have seen the new devotee who are coming from Indian background in temples, they touch the feet of sannyasis or devotees. For them, it's like a respect, but the way they are giving the response in a very like different, I don't want to say, but is this like that very critical, Guru Maharaj, to
No,
touch?
Prabhupada dealt with that very sensitively. He says, if you can't avoid it, then just remember Krishna and chant the holy names. He also said you can touch their back and then it goes, the karma goes back. But one should not be, like freaked out because someone is touching their feet. That looks quite bad. I mean, I had similar incidents like that where someone touches my feet or tries to, and I back off, But Prabhupada tell us to be a little bit sensitive towards that. When Prabhupada first came, when he was preaching in Bombay in 1972, even before that, he instructed Tamal Krishna Goswami, don't allow anyone to touch my feet. He told him, and that was his service. So when someone would come up to touch Prabhupada's feet, Tamal Krishna Goswami would very, politely, but firmly stop them. And that was Prabhupada's instructions, because Prabhupada knew that in India, hundreds of people will come and touch your feet. And the whole program becomes feet touching, there's nothing else.
So that's my precise point, Guru Maharaj. Like sometimes the statements and the information given by Prabhupada was in a different context. But
Yeah.
some people use that as an absolute in a different way, like, and make it very strong opinion.
Unpleasant.
And,
It's unpleasant.
unpleasant. Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, we should be it's a very sensitive thing. Yeah. Sometimes I can see, like if I'm feeling a little sick and somebody's going to touch my feet, I completely avoid that because I know I'll get more sick. So in order to avoid that, I sometimes people don't they misunderstand. But it's best to have, the sannyasi should have someone who was with him to very politely say, you can touch the ground in front of him. That's what they usually do. Or just make the motions of touching the feet. But you can find that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada writes about that. We should not allow anyone to touch our feet. But then he said it's okay for amongst the devotees. But sometimes when someone goes to touch your feet, sometimes you can see they're just doing it. And others are really doing it with devotion. So you can see the difference.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. It's quite helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
It's a sensitive thing.
Thank you,
The
Nanda.
etiquette is not an absolute thing, but it's a general thing. Because you can pick up karma, and if you're not strong, you'll get sick. That's a fact.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Nath Prabhu. Any other last minute questions?
I'll be right back.
Okay,
Keep the questions going.
okay, yeah. So if you're not able to, speak or ask questions, you can definitely type in the chat box and I'll read it for you. Welcome to London, Shridevi Mataji. I hope you're enjoying your stay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's wonderful to be with all of you.
I can see you're at Bhaktivedanta Manor. The weather is very nice and welcoming you nicely, Mataji. The weather is beautiful at the moment, so not too cold.
I'm so grateful for nice weather. It's really beautiful. I cannot tell you how comfortable and how at home I feel with Diptesh Prabhu and Manasi.
Oh,
that's so nice.
so if there are no other questions, then we can do the final announcements. Also, Krava Mataji, you have a question? Yes, go on.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to yourself. Guru Maharaj, the question is not from today's class. It's from yesterday's class. Regarding the theory of karma. You mentioned that the people suffer with the bad karmas or sinful reactions afterwards. But isn't that is a reason they continue doing the sinful reactions? Why can't they get the immediate reaction? At least that way we can stop those sinful reactions happening.
Well, there's different kinds of karmas. Some karma, you get an immediate reaction for the activity, and others, because the situation doesn't allow it, the reaction comes in a delayed form.
Yeah, but then Guru Maharaj, the people continue acting in the sinful way. They say, oh, nothing is happening to us. Why should we worry? Who knows what will happen after that?
Well, that's their stupidity.
That is true.
They're ignorant. The laws of karma work according to Krishna's arrangement. There's 4 kinds of karma. There's instant karma, delayed karma, manifest karma, and mass karma. So delayed karma means, for instance, I'll give you an example of delayed karma. When Dhritarashtra, at the end of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he approached Krishna. And at that time, his entire family was annihilated. And he wanted to know a little bit about his own karma. He said, I was born blind, and I had 100 sons, and they were all killed. What is my karma? And Krishna said, well, 50 lives ago, you were a hunter, and you shot a flaming arrow into a nest of birds, There were 100 birds in the nest. They all died. And the mother bird was blinded by the fire. So when Dhritarashtra heard that, he was a little shocked. And then he said, 50 lives. And Krishna said, yeah, it takes some good karma in order to get a son. So it took you 50 lives to get enough good karma to have 100 sons. And then after that, the karma crashed in. So karma works immediate, delayed, or even many long-term modes either. For instance, you see a plane will crash and everybody will die. So that's called mass karma. And all of a sudden, everybody gets the reactions at the same time. So material nature just gathers up everybody and then puts them in a particular situation, and then the karma cashes in. But devotees are not under the influence of material karma. They're under the influence of the Daivi Prakriti. So if they take shelter of Krishna, they're free from the reactions of their previous karma. If they don't, they will have to get some residue of that karma and experience that. So the laws of karma, Krishna, when was asked about that, I forgot who asked him, to explain the laws of karma. I think it was Uddhava. Krishna said it's not possible to explain because they're too intricate, how karma works. But the tendency is that when you perform a particular activity, the Nectar of Rupa Goswami explains in the Nectar of Devotion that you get a reaction for that activity and you get the tendency to perform that same activity again. So there's two features of the activity. The reaction plus the tendency to propels you in that same direction. That's why people go to jail, commit crimes, and when they get out, they still commit crimes, because that tendency is still there. That desire is still there.
But some of them don't even get any punishment for that.
Oh, they get it. Oh, yeah, everybody gets it. But it may not be immediate, but they'll get it. I'll give you an example. You know what a silo is?
Sorry?
You know what a silo is?
Silo, no.
A silo. It's one of these long, you see them on farms. They hold grains. There's storages for grains. They're called grain silos.
Okay, yeah.
So when you want to put the grains in, where do you put them? You put them in the top. And when you want to get it out, you open the door on the bottom.
The bottom, yeah.
So what you're doing now, you're putting it in the top. And you may be getting a different result right now, but eventually time will bring about that reaction also. So the demons sometimes seem to be flourishing, maybe because of some good karma, but after some time, that'll be gone, and to get the results of that action all comes in time. Like I was talking to one girl, she was saying when she's not chanting 16 rounds anymore. She was. And so she said, well, I still feel very Krishna conscious. I say, yeah, that's nice. But after some time, that feeling's going to be gone. Because that feeling that she has inside is due to her previous devotional activities. But because she's not performing anymore, she's losing that energy, that feeling, that experience will be gone in due course of time. Yeah, things work in time according to Krishna's arrangements, not necessarily immediately. The subtle laws are very powerful, and we can't perceive the subtle laws, but they're working.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
So don't worry. Anyone who's doing sinful activities, they'll get the reactions due course of time.
Hope so.
Yeah, and anybody who gets their, who's doing devotional service, they'll get their benefit. Sometimes not immediately, but in due course of time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sukava Mataji. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can close the call. It's 20 minutes. Oh, Shridevi Mataji, hooray. Yes, go on, Mataji.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
So Mataji, I think switch off your camera. Shridevi Mataji. Shridevi Mataji, switch off your camera. Okay, maybe let me just stop it so that you can. I'm just stopping your video, Mataji. Now you can talk. I think bandwidth is not very good. Go on.
Okay. Please accept my humble obeisances, dear Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you. Guru Maharaj, thank you for explaining about karma. I caught 3 of the 4 that you mentioned. You said instant karma, delayed karma, and the third one I didn't get. And the 4th is masked karma.
No, yeah, the third one is manifest karma.
Manifest.
Yeah.
What's the difference between manifest karma and the first 2?
Well, instant karma means immediate. Delayed karma means it'll manifest in due course of time. So manifest karma really applies to what you look like, who your parents are, where you're born. That's manifest karma. So a series of delayed karmas build up together. Says 27 delayed karmas actually bring about a manifest karma. So manifest karma is, big time stuff, like, you were born in this family with these parents in this culture in this country. That's manifest karma. Delayed karmas are the activities that build up together, combined, that form the manifest karma.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. And what is masked karma?
Mass means a bunch of people get the same reaction at the same time.
Oh, okay. Thank you for explaining that, Guru Maharaj.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Devi Mataji. Any other questions? Otherwise, in the meantime, we can do the announcements. First thing is Guru Maharaj is giving initiation to 9 devotees in Bhaktivedanta manner. It's on 19th of June in the morning at 7:30 a.m. So if you're in London, then please do join. There will be 7 second initiations and 2 first initiation. And so please do join. And next one is we're having a retreat as a, at Vedanta, Lancashire. Oh, there is a question. So let me just finish the announcement, but then we can take the question if there is any. So it's from 24 to 28 June and Vedanta, Lancashire, and
24 to 27.
27th. I always get confused with the last date. Yes, 24 to 27, and there will be many activities involved, team building activities, fun activities, and three main speakers will be talking about Krishna's Leela, and Guru Maharaj will be present there. Guru Maharaj, Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu, and Chitti Shakti Mataji. And there will be nice prasad, wonderful atmosphere, and a beautiful place, and lots of greenery, and amazing place actually, and devotees association. So please join. If you have not registered, please do register. There is still a few more last places left, I guess. Maybe I think 4 or 5, not many. So please do register if you have not.
And if those of you who want to come, but because of financial reasons are not able to come, then just make an inquiry within the next day or so. And I think we have a program to waiver all of the limitations that people face because of finances. So that's upcoming. So if that's the factor for your not going is the finances, that was going to be now overcome by some donations that we're getting that are coming in just very recently.
Jai, Jai, Jai.
Okay. All right, I'll disappear.
Yes, we'll close the call now. Thank you.
You have another question? Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
yes.
Shri Devi Mataji. Okay, so Guru Maharaj has left. Thank you so much, devotees, for joining, and thanks for your wonderful association. Hare Krishna. Have a lovely, lovely Krishna conscious day.
Thank you. Satyabhama. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sukawa. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Philip Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Jai Devananda Prabhu, you must be traveling. You look like you're in the bus. Hare Bol. Jai.